Hello, it's quite windy outdoors, so this is definitely a job to be done indoors. There's no way we can sow small seeds outdoors when it's windy, they just blow all over the place. And because we're sowing in a pot, we can do this job indoors, can't we? Okay, can you see my mate here? Molly? Okay. So we're going to sow some seeds, we're going to sow them indoors, we're going to sow them in this 10-inch pot, which I've already got filled with compost. And you can probably see that, but the surface is quite rough. It isn't a smooth surface. I like a smooth surface. I always feel you get a better contact and you can see what you're doing better with the seeds. So this is a base of a 10-inch pizza. I think I've had to trim it down to make it fit this pot. But I like to push that in on top of the compost. Just give me a flatter surface to work with. Sometimes they'll go in and they don't want to come out, these pizza bases, so we'll poke it out with this matchstick, which I'm going to use later. Okay, so that's looking a lot more smooth to take these seeds. Right, put that to one side. You've seen this before, it's just an old piece of mesh that I've cut, trimmed so it fits inside the pot. And it gives me a nice grid pattern to work to. Okay, it's a nice grid pattern, isn't it? So I'll be able to see where I'm putting these seeds hopefully. And that's something I want to cover in this video. Gardeners' ability to see seeds, because they are very small, but when you're sowing them, particularly in a pot, you need to sow them thinly, so you need to be able to see them, don't you? You need to be able to pick them up and you need to be able to see them. Okay, now what I'm going to do then, and I hope this demonstrates, particularly to gardeners who may have dexterity issues or sight issues, that these pelleted seeds, this is a seed called Trevor, it's a carrot called Trevor. These pelleted seeds are much easier to see and much easier to pick up. Much easier than picking up a standard carrot seed. These are Autumn King 2, and much easier to see because these seeds are much smaller to see, and they're a pale straw coloured seed, and when you get them on the compost they are difficult to see because the compost's that colour, whereas these guys are sort of a luminous green and much easier to see. So we'll sow these guys first. I'm going to sow half a pot in these pelleted seeds, this pelleted seed called Trevor, and then I'll sow the other half of the pot in this ordinary seed called Autumn King 2, and then we'll have a look at it. We'll just have a look at the our ability to actually see the seeds and see where we've placed them. And I'm going to sow a seed every other square. Okay, I'm going to use this trick that you've seen before. That's just a bottle top with a little water in it and a matchstick. You've seen this trick before, I'm sure you have, but if you haven't, if this is the first time, I'm hopefully going to be able to pick one seed up at a time with the wet end of a matchstick and drop it in the square I want to drop it in. Now if it doesn't go exactly where I want it to go, it's not an issue, it's not a big problem. So we'll pour those out there, we'll drop that down there, and that should give me half a pot of carrots, half a pot of Trevor. Okay, I'll pop that. Where shall I pop that? I'll pop that on there and hopefully it'll balance. So I think we've got that, and I'll actually mark the divide as well, I think, later. So there's Trevor on the end of the match. I think hopefully you can see that. And we'll drop Trevor in there. Some more water. and this is in real time, so there's no speeding up here, and you can see how quickly this can be done once you've mastered the matchstick, so to speak. So far we've got a seed everywhere we want a seed. We've dropped none. Now that's got to have put the kibosh on it, hasn't it? That's got to mean we will drop one very shortly, or we'll put one in the wrong place. We won't panic, will we? We won't panic, Molly, will we? Any chance of you go and put that kettle on, Molly? Think you could go and put that kettle on? How's that? That's all the pelleted seeds in. Okay. I'll just take this off here. I'll just tilt this a wee bit and see if you can see them. I'm not too sure how you'll get this on the camera. You see those pelleted seeds? I've no idea whether you can or you can't. I'm on the wrong side of the camera, you know. Okay. So I'll just turn this pot round to make it easier for me. And we'll put some of these autumn king seeds on the tray. Now, one thing I should have done and I haven't done, but again it's not a crisis. I should have actually sprayed the surface of that compost with some water, got it damp, but I didn't, and there's no going back now. I'm not taking those seeds off. But we will give it a spray before we cover those seeds over, so we'll make sure they're all damp. Okay. Now then, you can see those seeds. Those are the autumn king. Now these guys might take a bit more picking up actually, but we'll give it a go. No, I don't know if you can see that. There's one on the end of that matchstick. The problem with these guys is you need to keep an eye on where you put the last one, because they do disappear. Let me see, there's one in there, so we don't want one in that one. And there you go, you see, picking two up now. We'll just check. There's one in that one, so we want one in that one. You can't take your eye off the ball with these guys, because, and of course, if you're watching this on the video, any mistakes you'll pick them up. I can't. I won't be able to pick them up. Every now and again you get a seed that's a little bit brighter than the others in colour, and it makes the job a little bit easier. But by and large, they're all the same colour as this compost, and they are difficult to drop off. Now, in terms of planting depth, as you can see, these guys are all on the surface, so when I drizzle some compost in here, they'll all actually go in at the same depth, won't they? Because they'll get the same covering of compost. You know, so if I put a couple of millimetres in, or a quarter of an inch or whatever, that's what they all get covered with. I can see a few of these guys, but I can't see them all. Whereas the Trevor, I can see every single one. Now, pelleted seeds have got to be an advantage. Whoop! Woo! I nearly sowed all those in the next pot. I think I've done it. Yeah, I've done it. The bottom half of the pot, as you look at it, is sown with Trevor. The top half of the pot, as you look at it, is sown with Autumn King too. How's that? I'm going to bring this camera up even closer and let you see, hopefully, what I can see. Okay, so Trevor's closest to you and Autumn King's furthest away. Going a bit closer. I think you'll agree that a pelleted seed is much easier seen than a seed that isn't pelleted. Do you agree? If you've got eyesight issues, dexterity issues, pelleted seeds is something definitely worth thinking about. Right, we'll put this camera back on the stand and we'll finish this job off. Okay, give these guys a spray, settle them in, put some compost on top of them, firm it down. What I'm going to do though first is I'm going to take this grid pattern off, and right down that divide line I'm going to put this short piece of rocket stick with a bit of recycling from homegrown veg. That rocket stick, that's going to do nothing other than separate the two sides off, and when I harvest this pot we should be able to see the difference between the two varieties of carrot. Maybe not, I've no idea, but I thought it was something we might want to do. Okay, let's dampen these seeds off. Let's give them all a good wring. Right, we'll cover them up with some compost. And then we'll firm it down. And what I'm going to do is, because it's still cold outdoors and I want these guys to germinate, I'm actually going to stand this pot in the garage. The carrots don't need light, they haven't germinated yet. I'll keep an eye on it, and in so many days' time, when I see some life, when I see the carrots, that's when I'll bring it out, that's when I'll have to take it outdoors. Trevor was on that side, put the Trevor ticket in that side. Autumn King was on this side, we'll put the Autumn King ticket in this side. And that's it. Job done. Two different varieties of carrot, same pot. One a pelleted seed, one not a pelleted seed. One easier to see and handle, one not so easy to see and handle. Let's see how they go. This is homegrown veg. Molly Sparko, I have this effect on that dog. When I talk, she sleeps. Apart from when we're out, apart from when we're down on the seashore or in the local forests and woods and fields. But when we're at home, if I talk, Molly sleeps. Okay, so this is homegrown veg, signing out. Come on, Mo, we'll have a cup of tea. Come on. Molly, is that the kettle boiling? Molly, knock that kettle off. Good lass, well done. Right, come on, it's a cup of tea time.